What's up, guys? It's Branden Flash. Today we're here in Rock Hill, South Carolina at Circle K, and you know what that means, that we're going to be doing some efficiency testing. Today we're comparing tonneau open, tonneau closed, and tailgate open, tonneau open, because Rivian recently stopped shipping vehicles with a power tonneau or any tonneau cover. So let's see how that impacts your range. As I mentioned, we're going to be comparing how the tonneau cover impacts your efficiency, as well as adding in opening the tailgate with the tonneau open, just to see if that improves efficiency at all. We're charging up to 70%. We're going to be running at a constant 70 miles per hour on a loop style test. It's about 66 miles round trip. We're going south on I-77 and then back north. Very easy on and off here in Rock Hill. We have the tire pressures set to manufacturer recommended 48 PSI. We're on the 20-inch all-terrain tires. We're DC fast charging to 70% before each test. That way we have a constant starting point. We're also going to be recording the end state of charge, as well as the kilowatt hours used, the miles per kilowatt hour, and the total miles driven, and recorded time, of course. And we're just waiting for it to complete at 70%, and then we're going to be starting with running with the tonneau closed as our control. This is a 2022, it has about 8,000 miles on it, and it has the power tonneau cover. Mine has not had any issues yet, knock on wood. And then we'll be running with the tonneau open, and then we'll be running with the tonneau open and the tailgate open to see if that really improves things, or maybe not. We'll see. Put your comments down below on what you predict will happen, and as soon as this finishes at 70% state of charge, we're going to be hitting the road. Just about to finish at 70% here. For each test, we're going to be running it at 68 degrees. We're going to be running it on all-purpose, standard suspension, soft ride, high regen. Going to be resetting my trip here, just like that. That'll reset in just one moment here. In there, you can see we're at almost 8,000 miles, and that's my lifetime efficiency there. I generally do run it with the tonneau closed. So as soon as this hits 70%, we'll be hitting the road. Then as far as route goes, I like to use this pilot as my waypoint so I don't miss the exit. But you can see it's 34 miles there, and that's where we're going to be going. I'm not going to be using preconditioning to come back to the charger here, but this is our start and end point. Well, I accidentally had my charge limit set to 85% instead of 70%, so it went over. I need to drive a couple laps here just to get it down to like 68, 69%. Then we'll charge it back up to 70%, so that way we have a consistent starting point for each test. Through some very inefficient driving, we got it down to 69%. So now that we have our charge limit set to 70% there, we're going to plug back in, and then we'll hit the road again, and of course reset this as well. So let's get plugged in, charge back up to 70%, and let it stop on its own, and then we'll hit the road and do the standard loops. Well, we are back at 70% recharged back up. Didn't add a whole lot of energy. We added 1.8 kilowatt hour, just like that. Reset this again. There we go. And let's hit the road. And we're running with the tonneau closed, which you can see here. So it would say closed tonneau if it was open. You can also see back there, the tonneau is closed. Merging onto I-77 South here, we'll be locking it in at 71 miles per hour indicated because that's 70 miles per hour actual. And we'll be hitting 70 miles per hour by the end of this on-ramp, and then just set it on Driver Plus and call it a day. And I did want to mention, as we're cruising along here, today is in the mid to high 50s as far as temperature goes, so that these results are not necessarily directly comparable to my previous tests that were conducted in 70, 80 degree temperatures, but you can compare them if you're wanting to compare between low and high temperature. And wow, I really need a haircut. Good thing I'm getting one tomorrow. And we're approaching the turnaround point, just going to be kicking it off of Driver Plus. We're at 58% state of charge. And as we're crossing the sign here, we are at 58% state of charge, just went into regen, 64 miles per hour, average 1.92 mile per kilowatt hour. And we're just gonna be turning around here and heading back. On this route, there is a southerly wind at about 9 miles per hour. So on the way south, the first half of the trip, We actually have a tailwind, which is helping efficiency. And now on the way back to the charger, we have a headwind. So probably going to have quite a bit worse efficiency on the second half here, but that's why we do these loop style tests, to cancel that out to the best of our ability. So it shouldn't impact range too much. And since we're doing these tests back to back, as far as being able to compare each result, should be good. And we're now exiting. We're at 42% state of charge, 66 mile per hour average, and 1.79 mile per kilowatt hour. And I'll update you once we're at the charging station with the final numbers for this loop. And just like that, we're at 42%, 116 miles estimated range, driven 66.5 miles, 65 mile per hour average. That was at 66 just a moment ago. 1.8 mile per kilowatt hour and 1 hour, 1 minute using 37.1 kilowatt hour. Let's get plugged in here, and then we're gonna do with the tonneau open. So you can see it opening back there. Just like that, we've got an open tonneau, so let's get plugged in. Just about to complete here at 70%. We've got an open tonneau, of course, nothing in there, so nothing to fly around or anything like that. And just finished 70%, so let's get unplugged. Just like that, we added 42 kilowatt hour, quite a bit actually. We're showing 194 miles estimated range. Going to reset the trip there from the previous run. And we charged up in, let's see, 17 minutes, adding 43.1 kilowatt hour. So let's get on the road here and do this with the open tonneau. And we just pulled off here. We're at 59%, so 1% higher than on the previous run. And let's see here, 64 mile per hour average, 2 miles per kilowatt hour. So actually slightly more efficient, I think. We'll have to double check. That was at the top of the ramp there. But we're going to be merging back on, and this result doesn't really matter a whole lot. It's all about what the final loop result is. So let's get to it. Just exiting here, we're at 43% state of charge, which is actually 1% higher than we arrived with previously. And we're 1.78 miles per kilowatt hour, essentially the same. Previously we were at 1.8. So we'll be pulling up to the charge station, then I'll give you the final after we regen a little bit. And there we have it. We arrived with 43%, so 1% higher than the previous test, and 1.79 miles per kilowatt hour, effectively the same. But let's get plugged in, and I'm gonna call that essentially the same, but we'll run the test again with the tailgate down and go from there. Well, we're at 68% state of charge, so I'm gonna put the tailgate down so we're ready to go in that regard. And unfortunately, we can't use the lovely camera on the spoiler there with the tailgate down, because that would make far too much sense. So instead, we get to look at this camera and look at the inside of the tailgate, because you can see there that it gets entirely blocked. So Rivian, definitely fix that, please. And one thing I would caution you, if you're driving like this on like dirt roads or something, definitely recommend having some paint protection film here, or there's a good chance you're gonna get some rocks kicked up from the tires there. Let's see how charging is going. We're at 69%. Just about to finish up here, and then we'll get going with the tailgate down and the tonneau open. Should be an interesting test, I think. I don't have a whole lot of confidence that this will make a difference, but one way to find out. Just finished charging, added 40.23 kilowatt hour, and we're at 70%. Let's get to it. One thing I wanted to mention, the way this is designed, I'll try and include the video down below, but it's essentially pulling air in, and then this, as you can see here with these slots, it's pulling air down. So it's essentially creating a cone back here. So that's why I think there's a chance that having this open could make a difference with the tonneau open. But otherwise, if you have the tonneau closed, I don't think you can get much of a difference. I think this is pretty much as good as it gets. But we'll find out here and see how it goes. 70% showing 193 miles estimated. We've got the tailgate down. Let's reset our trip. just like that. And we're gonna get going with the useless backup camera. So I have to actually look around me. Just absolutely useless backup camera with the tailgate down. Come on, Rivian, fix that, please. Let's get on the interstate. Just coming up on the exit here, and we're at 59%, kicking it off of Driver Plus, 59%, 1.89 mile per kilowatt hour. But let's regen up the off-ramp here, just easing off the throttle so we can slow down without using any brakes, and then we'll take the left here to turn. Love the regen in the Rivian, works really well. Pedal calibration is excellent. There we have it, 1.94 miles per kilowatt hour. I believe that is the best we've seen at this point. And again, 59%. So we're going to be getting back on. Again, 71 mile per hour indicated, 70 actual, and I'll see you back at the charger. And we're just exiting here. We're at 44% state of charge, 1.71 miles per kilowatt hour, and I'll see you at the charger. We'll crunch all the numbers and give you the final stats. And there we have it, the final stats for the open tonneau and open tailgate run. We're at 43%, 119 miles estimated range, and we averaged 1.73 miles per kilowatt hour and 65 mile per hour. Let's get plugged in and then I'll crunch all the numbers. Well, I've crunched the numbers here. I don't know if the results are necessarily what I expected or not what I expected. I don't really know exactly what I expected, but it's pretty clear that having the tonneau closed and having the tailgate up is the most efficient configuration to drive it in. But it's not a significant difference between the tailgate, or between having the tonneau open and the tailgate closed. However, having the tonneau open and the tailgate open did make a difference. It's about a 4% difference compared to having the tonneau closed and the tailgate closed. Is that the make or break? Probably not. This is most likely a result of the air from both underneath the vehicle and from the roof of the vehicle being disrupted by having the tailgate open. Obviously, if you're driving, you actually have to have the tailgate open for some cargo that you're carrying or whatever the case may be. Most likely that's going to be impacting your range more than just having the tailgate and the tonneau open itself. So I wouldn't necessarily worry about it. But anyway, I don't think that if you're buying a new Rivian that you can't get a powered tonneau or any tonneau on is going to make a significant difference for your range or anything like that. And I think Rivian was correct in saying that it doesn't make a meaningful difference in your range or efficiency. I don't remember the exact wording, but it was something along those lines. But anyway, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Is this what you expected? Did you expect different results? Do you think it's worth having a tonneau for efficiency purposes? I don't think so, but I'll put it down here. I'll include the link down below, maybe. Otherwise, the table will be somewhere on the video that you're seeing right now. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you on the next one.